5, persecution emboldens other believers, calling them to arms as they see Christians suffer. Another missionary story, though missionaries are not the only ones who can be faithful enough to suffer, but another missionary story is of Chet Bitterman. He was a missionary in the 80s, 1981. He was in Colombia, and he was taken and put in prison for 7 weeks. Well, a guerrilla prison, so a small basement with no light, by the guerrilla group M19 on March 6, 1981. His wife and children waited dearly and prayed earnestly for his release, and then he was shot in the chest, wrapped in a Colombian rebel flag, and left in a car park. The Wycliffe Bible translators were the ones who had employed him and sent him. The Wycliffe Bible translators said this: applications for overseas service with us doubled in the year following his death. This trend was continued in following years, full stop. John Piper says of this: it is not the kind of missionary mobilization that any of us would choose, but it is God's way. Quoting John chapter 12, verse 24, unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it will bear much fruit. Persecution emboldens other believers, calling them to arms. Like the story of David and Goliath. Do you remember the fearing Israelites backed up, armored up, weaponed up, but backed up because they were afraid of the taunts and the chants of that champion Goliath. And once they saw David go forward and defeat him, it says they ran, but not away. They ran to the battle. They ran, making the enemy flee, and they sprinted to action. This is the effect that martyrs, that the persecuted, whether dying or just being mistreated, has on the church. As we see our Davids, inflamed with the Spirit, go forward and stare down the face of death and say, you are a vanquished foe. Even if I die, I win. Even if you kill me, you lose. You're dead. Death, your days are numbered. When we stare down the face of persecution and can say, let it all come upon me, Jesus Christ is the saving Lord, the rest of the people who were cowardly before, the rest of us who struggle to share the gospel, who count our worldly goods and pleasures far too dearly, we see it, we are inflamed, and we run with them. This is what persecution does to the church. It galvanizes her.